welcome back to the Irish Tennis Updates podcast. The US college tennis season is coming to a close over the next couple of days. In the last 2 to 3 weeks, the national championships have been taking place across the divisions. The teams, the singles, the doubles have all been going on. So we're going to take you through the Irish that have been in action in those. Also, we're going to go through what's called the all-conference teams, which is basically a selection of the top performing players in each conference. And through this episode, Mark will explain what exactly that means, what it takes to be on those all-conference teams. And there are a good number of Irish players who have made those. A big well done to all the players in action over the last few weeks in the national championships, also over the whole entire season. This is our final college tennis update episode. Hope you have enjoyed keeping up to date. Well done again to all the players, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Here we go. Here is Mark Finnegan. All right, Mark. So a big welcome back. And it's been a couple of weeks since we were talking, kind of looking ahead to the national championships and the very end of the college season. So how are things with you? And I guess how's the season been going since then?
Yeah, we're all almost done here. So team championships are all done except for Division 3, and they're still going. And now the singles and doubles individual championships in Division 1 are still going on at the moment. Obviously, if you were following Georgia Drummy, her run came to an end last night. And so she has been eliminated from the singles draw in the round of 16, which is still an amazing achievement. But so the finals will be up here on a Friday, I think it is, or Saturday. And that'll be it for the college 2021 season.
I know it goes quick. It's long, but it goes quickly. So yeah, obviously we'll come on and talk about the different players who were playing, as you mentioned, George, obviously, who are playing in the different championships. So there's one question I had was All-American this term. So am I correct in saying that means last 16 in singles or quarters and doubles?
So yeah, there's a couple of ways you could be named All-American, and yes, one of those is if you make the round of Sweet 16, the last 16 players in singles and the quarterfinals of doubles. So I've actually had a couple of players who have been ranked, inside the top 10 in college the whole year, maybe lose second round of the NCAA tournament. They go to 11 in the rankings, and they don't get named All-Americans, which is really tough sometimes on them. But the second way you can get named is if you finish a certain position in nationally ranked in the country too as well. That's the second way you can be named an All-American. And I believe it changes a little bit sometimes year to year, but I think typically you're looking at, like, if you're ranked top 16 in the nation, or maybe even top 20, I think it is, or you're top 10 in doubles. So those are the kind of the two ways. And if you're in the business world and you're looking to hire an employee and stuff like that, it's a really, really valuable thing to have, is to say that you're an All-American, because the Americans understand that this is something incredibly difficult to accomplish.
Absolutely, yeah. So now I believe today, as well as talking about the different championships for Division 1, Division 2, NAIA, the different levels, we're also going to be touching on the all-conference teams and which of the Irish players have made those teams. And I guess you can explain a bit about what that means as well, and then look at the various players who have made that. So do you want to bring up some slides and look at those pictures? Or
Yeah, and I probably would explain to people too as well, and just so you know, is conferences would be the equivalent of like your premiership or your championship or whatever, right? Tables. So I think there's like 32 conferences in tennis in the nation, and each of those conferences get an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament if you win the conference championship. And then also, as well as what they have, is a conference end of year tournament that grants that person the access to the NCAA tournament. But also, as well as if you're maybe the best singles or doubles player in your conference, then you will get access then, if you're ranked inside a certain number, to be able to play in the national championship. And then also what the conferences do, which you're saying, is at the end of the year, they have awards for the player of the year, the coach of the year, and so forth. And And then they have what's called all conference first, second, and sometimes third teams.
Okay.
And sometimes they do in singles and doubles. Every conference is different of how they hand out their awards. And, you know, obviously some awards in some conferences are more difficult to get because they will be a stronger conference. But, you know, typically you're somewhere in the range of, say, 10 to 12 schools in each conference. And so you're looking at probably about maybe, you know, 110 players on the male or the female side. And then, you know, maybe the top 10% of players maybe are getting named all conference. So obviously you've been one of the best players. You've had one of the best results in that year in that conference if you were named.
Yeah, and then I saw that there are quite a few Irish players who have made those teams, which is great to see. So yeah,
absolutely. Let's take a look.
Let's have a look. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the twins, Lola and Sol, all year, and again, what a great year they've had in doubles. So to be able to actually be all conference, they actually played the 3 and 2 line. Usually, typically, your all conference first team doubles teams would be the teams that have played at the number 1 position and have won a lot. But obviously, they've done something really well there to warrant being selected on the first team of doubles all conference. And then I know Lola, then we didn't talk about is what's called an honorable mention. So again, not every conference does this, but some conferences, if you don't make the first or team or the second team and they don't have a third team, they sometimes, you know, will use it. It's called honorable mention. So Lola played 5 in the lineup this year. She had a fantastic year. She exceeded expectations on her team and had a fantastic record. So she would have obviously earned that reward for that. So, and then we have Zara Ryan, played the number 2 spot, and obviously was named to the singles all Mountain West Conference team. Mountain West, a very strong conference, probably one of the strongest conference outside of what they call the Power 5 conferences, which is the 5 major conferences in the country. So that's a really good achievement for her to be able to have made that all conference selection.
Right,
I think she was second. I think she was second team all conference. And then I think Shauna Heffernan in doubles played the number 1 spot, had a fantastic doubles year, had a great record, really exceeded expectations with her doubles partner. They were named first team all conference again in the same conference then as Zara Ryan, again, a really tough conference. So. And then we talked about Georgia Drummy. Georgia Drummy was named second team all conference in the ACC. So now you can kind of get the idea here is, you know, the ACC would be one of, I think, if the strongest conference in the country for the women's. And she was only named second team all conference, and yet she's going to be all American, right? So you can just think about how many quality players there must have been for it to be ahead of her in the conference on the first team. So certainly well done, and that's an amazing achievement to be all conference in the ACC. Anna Botel, again, another second team all conference player for Rice. They play in Conference USA, which is a decently strong conference. Wouldn't be probably similar to the Mountain West Conference, but not as tough as the ACC. And Anna played at that 4 and 5 spot and had a very good record this year. So that's why she got named second team all conference. Poor quality here a little bit, but Ciara O'Toole, I think we talked a lot about her this year, about how she was winning a lot. They played a reduced schedule, but her new university, Sacred Heart, smaller conference called the Northeastern Conference. It's in a lot of the Northeastern schools there near New York. A lot of private, very nice universities in that conference. She was named second team all conference. So that was a great achievement for her after transferring from another university. So well done to her. And then we had Ali O'D. Ali was able to be named all conference in doubles. She played at the number 1 doubles position. I think we talked a lot about her success, and she was a player of the week during the year. And I know that she's done a great job in the doubles position there for them. And Adam, that's another thing is funny is, you know, I think you're seeing something very, very common here. It's doubles is we've done extremely well in, right? And you know, I think this then goes back to something I talked a lot to the coaches about, how the league system in Ireland actually really helps us prepare us nicely for doubles in America, because very few tournaments these days actually prioritize the doubles over the singles. But as we know from playing league here, that league can sometimes be in winter league, that's all you do is the doubles, right? So really it's something that we all need to keep doing, is try to find a league club, play league, continue to do your league, because it can come back to help you so much when you get to compete in college tennis.
And it's similar, even if you look at kind of a pro level, you do see doubles a lot, like probably more success in doubles than singles for a lot of the Irish players as well. So.
Yeah, and I think it's also to do a little bit to do with our surface. So our surface is obviously a faster, quicker surface with first strike tennis. So I think those obviously skills that you develop are probably more conducive to doubles play than singles play. So again, look, I think we would prefer to be having more singles players being successful, but obviously, doubles is a huge part of college tennis, and it's something very valuable because, some of the countries in the warmer climates, like the South American countries or the Spanish countries, sometimes their double skills, you have to really, as a coach in college, you have to really work hard on them to actually develop any sort of skills for them, because they've just done nothing with doubles. So I think it's something that we need to continue to develop in our players. As I said, former player, bunch of my former players that have played for me have gone on to have really successful doubles careers, and the opportunities in the doubles world to be a professional tennis player and get to the top level is certainly is attainable, and probably a little bit more attainable than maybe the competitiveness of getting there as a singles player.
Yeah.
So so do we start with the guys now?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Thomas Brennan had a great year at Butler, and got to spend a little bit of time with Thomas since he's been back, and Thomas has was actually hoping to be player of the year in his conference. He was one match away from, and one game away from being the player of the year in the conference, which would have been an incredible achievement for him. Because that's a really great conference. As they call it, it's traditionally one of the strongest conferences is in the whole of America. It's called the Big East, and it's a big basketball conference. And it's in tennis it's strong, but it's not as strong as it used to be. But still, first team all conference for him. That's the first time he's ever achieved that. And so I know he's got his eyes set on hopefully maybe being the player of the year next year in his conference. And then great job from Oisin Shaffery. Oisin just seems to keep exceeding expectations. I was chatting with his coach a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of coaches I ended up talking about in that region, they always bring up his name of how much he's improved and how much of a good guy he is. And so well done, Oisin, and being named first team all conference. And he was playing in the 1 and 2 spots all year, and I know he was going on ups and downs where he's winning a couple in a row, losing a couple in a row, but hopefully that will prepare him for next year to be able to play top of the line and maybe become a ranked singles player if he gets the opportunity. Yeah. I know that's something that Thomas talked about. His goal is now to be a top 125 ITA ranked player in college. Yeah. And that would then set him up hopefully maybe to make an NCAA championships. That's I think that's the goal maybe for these two guys and maybe next year.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then we've got the Annie Mcculloch from the SAC Conference of Division II University. If you actually see down there, I just saw her GPA. It's insane, 3.983 GPA. So GPA scale is done on 0 to 4. That pretty much means that Annie only probably got one, maybe B or an A- in her whole time in college. So Annie's obviously very, very smart. But she was named Scholar Athlete of the Year. So this is the person who's the best athlete and the best academic person. And, that's a really, really big honor to get. I mean, so she's probably, in her conference, was definitely probably the best overall student athlete and was awarded with that honor. So well done to her. I know she's finishing her degree. She did a master's over there too as well. So incredible career for her. And then we got Caitlin and Annie. Also, you can see beside their name there, it's like they've got grad transfer. So they're doing their graduate degrees, right? Not an undergraduate. That means they avail of that 5th year, and that's what's made college recruitment and college tennis in general, its level go up, because people like the girls are still in university, and that's happening all over. So, they were named first team in doubles all conference. And Caitlin was named, I think, 3rd team in singles and first team for Annie in singles. So they did a good job of cleaning up in their conference. Yeah. So then we've got Emer Mar, local girl from Naas, which is great. She transferred universities and was able to be named second team all conference in singles. So well done to Emer too as well. Great achievement there with transferring to her new university, and that's Barton College, a Division II university. So yeah, so that's pretty much on the all conference side there.
Great stuff. It's great to see so many players. Division I and Division II both are all making, and obviously a mix of males and females as well. So a great mix and great achievements for all of them.
Yeah, and I hope I didn't miss anyone. I went back and tried to do the best job I could to make sure I saw if I got everybody. So, but if I did, I really apologize. And yeah. Okay, so let's chat about national championships here. So on here on your left was Emily Connolly, who actually was the person who went the furthest in the national championships out of anybody in Ireland. So she was in the NAIA with Indiana Wesleyan, who are ranked 4, and she was in and out of the lineup at 6 in singles and played 3 doubles. They made the semi-finals of the NAI National Championships. I'm going to try to bring up the draw here really quickly, okay? So Emily Connolly here in the NAI National Championships. This was held down in Mobile. Here you can see Emily Connolly's team. She played in and out of the lineup at 6 all year. Ended up playing 3 doubles during the national championship for the team. And you can see there they were seeded 4th. So they made it all the way to the semi-finals here against this team called Georgia Gwinnett. Georgia Gwinnett on the men and female side in NAI are an absolute powerhouse. But that's the furthest that Indiana Wesleyan's women's tennis team, I think, and men's tennis team have ever gone in a national championship. So amazing job. Like, you get a nice trophy, you get a lot of recognition for making a semi-finals of a national championship. So well done there. And that was an amazing effort from her. And what a great experience to have now being able to say that you made a semi-finals of a national championship.
Absolutely, yeah, that's brilliant.
All right, and so here's the women's draw here now, and we can see Georgia Drummy's Duke had a fantastic win against the hosts of the national championship, UCF 4-3, which was fantastic, and I'm sure there was a lot of fans at that one. And then obviously that's a huge rivalry between North Carolina and Duke. I mean, in every sport, in that universities, those two universities are separated by 30 minutes from each other.
Okay.
Their basketball programs have historically and crazy rivalry, and I know that rivalry goes over to every sport. So really tough quarterfinals. They were the #1 team in the country. I think Duke were right there. They almost had a chance to get through in that match. But still, amazing run to the quarterfinals of that NCAA championships.
Yeah, and I was going to say, even on that one, it was 4-1, but a lot of those matches were 3 sets and kind of could have gone the other way as well. So it was probably tighter than 4-1 makes it look.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had Bjorn Thompson here, who made quarterfinals with Texas A&M, and as you know, Texas A&M actually lost to the eventual champions Florida in the quarterfinals too as well. So and Bjorn was playing that #1 spot in doubles, which so well done to Bjorn.
That's brilliant.
And then we also had another Irish guy who's going to be going to Tennessee next year, Conor Gannon. Their team made it all the way to the semi-finals and had an incredible year this year. So he's joining now a perennial powerhouse in college tennis in Tennessee. So that's good. And then moving on to it might be a little bit tricky to see here because the names are small. Yeah. But right down here we have Bjorn Thompson and his partner. Yeah. They lost first round in the tournament. I know that team that they lost to won another round again, so they're in the quarterfinals at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're actually playing quarterfinals against a guy who these two guys I would have been familiar. I would have been recruiting when I was at Auburn my last year. Tad and Finn Murgett, they're 2 English guys, so they're for Auburn. So that's cool to see that. And then we've got the women's national championship here, and we have Georgia here, which again we said at the start made the round of 16. She won 2 matches here. She won her first one, 6-1 in the third, 4 in the third, and then lost last night in the round of 16. So And look, to give you an idea, is only ever one time in my 11 years, one player that I ever have make it past the round of 16 to the quarterfinals. It's you know, this is when you start to get to this quarterfinals round of 16 stage, you know, it's probably a top 300 WTA level in the world. So maybe the girls don't have that rankings, but because they're not playing on a weekly basis, but this level is extremely high when it gets to that stage. So that's a little bit on the national championships there.
That's brilliant. And I think it's almost worth mentioning, because I could see on that draw sheet the Tennis One app, which I think is a great thing that obviously not many people probably are going to know about, but it has all the courts for the national championships are free and live streamed on that app, which is like I was able to tune in for a couple of the matches during the week, which is a brilliant thing to have. And just, it's great that it's free, obviously, as well.
Yeah, it's incredible that it's free. And you know, I think the Tennis Channel covered from the quarterfinals onwards the matches. I think 2 matches every day in the evening time. So I actually got a chance to watch that. And the coverage has gotten better and better with college tennis, because, you know, it's tricky. How do you cover 6 singles matches and 3 doubles matches? But it makes it really exciting, because they're constantly moving the camera to see the most important pivotal moments of each match. And the momentum swings. So look, that anybody who didn't download that Tennis One app, I certainly knew I sent it all to everybody who I'm involved with. Like, you know, this is the sort of stuff you need to be doing to educate yourself on what the level is and the overall environment feels like. It's, you know, I think you did Fergus O'Rourke and Georgia did a great interview the other day, and you had it up on your website, which is great. And you know, she made some comments there, like talking about the environment, talking about, you know, you're playing for your team and how different that is. And so absolutely, like, you know, you have to prepare for these moments, because these moments, there's a lot of pressure.
And then the other thing she did say was always about kind of the streaming and how she was able to watch all her matches and get the stats and track the matches as well, which is a nice thing to have for her.
Yeah, and what you'll notice when we're actually doing that streaming on the Tennis One app, the play site actually even brings up all those stats while you're watching it too as well. And you know, I think there's one play site machine here in the country at Riverview and one court. You know, the world of streaming and the world of statistics. There's actually a good guy I know called Mike James, who's a phenomenal guy and known him for a very long time. And he's done a great job at statistics on tour and driving that side of the market. But Irish tennis is way far behind on that. Like, we need to get better at streaming our matches. I know there's some GDPR stuff, but yeah, you got to get beyond those GDPR and find a way to start getting more video footage during these matches, because that's, you know, I think Mike James has some statistic out there says that 50-60% or something, some number that's way more than 50% anyway. I think 60% or maybe more are visual learners. And so you might be, as a coach, telling your player feedback on how they did in the tournament, but they're visual learners. So unless they see what they're doing, and that's something, you know, I've done a lot. I'm used to doing it from being in America. Is I stick up a camera constantly all the time, and then I'll just, you know, download it, send it to the player, and then I'll ask them hopefully to give me some communication back on what they think they can do a little bit better, you know. So
good. No, it's definitely a really good tool. And Mark, obviously a big thanks for coming on today, and also over the last while. I know it has been you know, you've put a lot of time into these, and I appreciate all the time, and kind of it's great to keep people updated on the college tennis progress. So a big thanks on that, and any final words before we finish up today?
Well, yeah, there's one thing, you know, I think we obviously haven't heard the announcement yet for the Billie Jean Cup team, but the Davis Cup team, it's an amazing job. And David O'Hare, it's great to see him wanting to represent his country. He's always been a great team guy. You know, he played for me in Memphis, made so many sacrifices at Memphis to make the team better. And it's great to see him wanting and being in the role back in Davis Cup. And then obviously Julian Bradley, who's one of the, if not the biggest overachievers in Irish tennis. He's gotten selected again, and you know, he played for me at North Florida. And then Oscar is doing a great job, and he's just like working his tail off. And I know he's out in Soto a lot, and played for Wisconsin. So, you can just see this college tennis does play an absolute vital role in preparing our Davis Cup players, but also having the most competitive amount of players playing tennis in this country. And so, yeah, wishing them all the best of luck. And I know they've got two new captains. Conor obviously can't travel, but Keane and Carlos, I think, will do an absolutely phenomenal job and lead that team together, and hopefully get that opportunity to get into that group 2 where we really feel like they should be,
Yeah.
And then I don't know who will be announced on the girls team, but I think a lot of those college girls are going to be in the running for some spots.
Yeah.
So we're very grateful and thankful. I think we should be for college tennis, because it gives the Irish tennis player a platform to continue to develop as a player. And then there's nothing to say after 1 or 2 or 3 years in college in America that you can't stop playing college tennis and go professional. But the challenge right now at the moment, even more now, the college tennis systems has gone up in a level, but the futures and the 25 women's tournaments, they're like, I've never seen the level so high in my entire life. So you could be playing a quali future and it would feel like a quarterfinals of a main draw future or semifinals. So all those players out there grinding on those future circuit, just keep going, keep fighting, and keep the faith, because I admire you for basically getting out there and doing it.
Yes,
so.
for sure. And obviously, as you said, it is great for Davis Cup team to have 3 out of 4 college players, and possibly something similar when we do get to hear the Billie Jean King Cup team as well, which is just great to see. As you say, it is a great thing for Irish tennis, all the college tennis that's played, and how much it does for players. So it's brilliant to see that. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, and I had a small part to play in Julian and David O'Hare's development, but that's what's so cool about college tennis is I've loved following their journeys, because I do feel a part of their journeys. And so I think that's what's great about team tennis. It goes beyond just the individual success. The whole club, everybody can just kind of join in and enjoy the journey of those individual players when they're playing the team competitions. And this is a big reason why we're doing what we're doing, Adam, is I want to get the word out to all of these clubs in Ireland, and when they have a player in college, we want that club to be a great support system for that player, and to feel pride in that player, and to help that player. So I think it takes a community to build a professional tennis player. So hopefully if you've got a good tennis community, that they have your back, and they're there to support you in any way they can. So
yeah, absolutely, it is. That's a big thing, getting kind of clubs to get invested almost in the stories of the players is a great thing.
Yeah, and we look. Remember Nyland at Wimbledon, and golly, I don't know how many Irish were over there, but how many great memories, just because Conor done such an amazing job that he was able to provide for other people to enjoy coming to watch that moment for him, and he shared it with all those people. So it's a win-win for everybody, and that's what we want to do, is we want to build tennis communities. So the league tennis is just a great start for me. I just love the league tennis, and I keep saying to everybody everybody needs to be playing some sort of league tennis.
Yeah, no, Mark, a big thanks, obviously, as I said, for the last few months, for today, and I think we hopefully will keep something up over the next while, which people can keep an eye out for. But yeah, a big thanks, and I guess we'll talk soon. And that's all for this episode. As I said, a huge thanks once again to Mark Finnegan for all the time he's put into these over the course of the season. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please do consider sharing the episode around, so that the achievements of all these players can be recognised as much as possible. That's all for now. Goodbye, and have a good day.